What does it feel like to sin? The Lord establishes for this wealthy young man today two standards of righteousness. The first is the one that we are accustomed to. The don'ts, the basic rules. Don't kill, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't lie, honor your father and mother, love your neighbor as yourself. Mostly don'ts. And then for the neighbor and the parents, give honor and treat as you would treat yourself. This is what it means to be a moral person. And we know what that feels like when we get up in the morning, we go through the course of the day, and we know we've done okay. We don't have anything to be ashamed of. We don't have anything to hide. We're all right. And when we mess up, when we fail, when we break one of those commandments, or when we even begin in our mind to move towards that, we know what it feels like. We feel a sense of shame. We feel a sense of weakness. We feel a sense of disintegration, of falling apart, of struggling to hold it together. We put on a facade of confidence to those whom we encounter. We know what we're supposed to feel like, and we try to act that way. But we know we're broken. This sense may be called our conscience. It may be called our familiarity with the image of God that is in us. It may be called simply our moral sense. But we know when we are walking in righteousness and when we aren't. Now, this young man, he knew as well. And we must believe him when he says, Lord, I've kept all these things from my youth. What do I still lack? Because we all know as well what it feels like to keep the rules. It's boring. It's tedious. We can begin to think, all right, so I feel good that I haven't done anything wrong for a week, a month, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Is this all that life has for me? To not do bad stuff? Is this all there is? We can speak with this young man, this moral, right young man, when he says, what else is there? What am I missing? I don't feel bad. I like not feeling guilty, so I live a righteous life. That's good. I'm happy with that, but what else do I do? Because I don't feel full. I don't feel right. Something's missing. What else is there? And the Lord says, well, if you would be perfect, look at this. If you would be perfect, sell everything you have, give the money to the poor, and then you will have treasure in heaven. Giving it up. This is the other standard, beyond morality, beyond just following the rules and not harming anyone else. The Lord calls us to understand something more. It's like the difference between coming into the church and we know how we're supposed to behave. Don't talk, don't run, don't pinch if you're in the altar. Don't fall asleep. And try to pay attention. Basic rules for being in church and not messing up. Right? Yeah, don't pinch. Oh, well. The priest can help with the not falling asleep if he actually preaches an interesting sermon, yes? So, we know the rules of how to come into the church. We're good at that. But again, to just come and sit here quietly, appropriately, following the rules, is it exciting? Is it fun? Not really. We would like to know, how can we come to church and really participate? How can we come to church and be filled? And sometimes we just say, well, pay attention more. Read along, and you'll find the meaning. There's truth in that. But the fundamental point is this. If we remember why we are here, then the answer to the rich young man and the answer to us is the same. We are here because God has come into the world and he speaks to us. Now, here, at this moment, God is present. Truly, really, absolutely. And this is why we're supposed to behave well, because we're in the presence of God. We forget this. We think it's just to be good, that's all. Because otherwise God will be mad at us. Has nothing to do with the anger of God, although that is a real thing. It's because he's here. Because we love him. Because he has loved us. We run to him. We encounter him. So the Lord says to the rich young man, fine, you know how to live within the rules. You know how to function according to the guidelines. You know how to be moral. But if you would be perfect, understand this. The world is not what you think it is. It is not just a place in which to live and follow the rules. It is glorious. It is magnificent. It is awesome because God is present and everything matters. And if you leave everything that you're holding on to, everything that is holding on to you, you will have eyes to see and ears to hear and a mind and heart to understand and be blessed. And everything will be different. Everything will be glorious. This is what he says to the young man. You follow the rules just fine. You're invited to open your eyes and see the reason for the rules. To leave rules behind and hold fast to Jesus Christ. This is what we are called to do. Not to live moral, peaceful lives where we follow the rules, where we learn to sit quietly in church just because that's what we're supposed to do. That's nice. It's fine. But we're called to more than that. We're called to love and communion and joy and glory. It's exciting. It's fun. It's just more exciting and more fun than any game that we normally understand to the children, than anything that we experience elsewhere to the adults. And what we are called to do is to find what in our lives we are holding on to, what it is that is holding on to us, preventing us from seeing this truth, from understanding and encountering the glory and everything that we are commanded is to help us to intent to pass beyond the veil, not just to follow more rules, but to be transformed. If you ever wonder why, when you ask the priest, Father, what are the rules of fasting? You get two answers. You get, well, technically the rules of the fasting are this, 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 and this. But I suggest do this in this mind with this intent, because otherwise you will get bogged down and buried in rules, and you will not understand the purpose behind it, which is to leave aside the things of this world so that you may receive the gift of God. What I would beg of all of you, when you come into the church, when in your homes you are living religious lives, when you consider questions of morality, questions of righteousness, questions of holiness, understand the message of the Lord to the rich young ruler today. There is a moral and righteous way, and it is good. But we who are Christians are called to pass beyond that, observing all those things, not for the sake of the law, but for the sake of the love of God revealed in us. And the call of the Lord to Him comes to all of us. Find what it is that binds us. Lay it aside. Put it away. Let it go. And follow Christ. In this mind, let us stand. Let us continue the divine liturgy.